banging doesn't stop. It hammers through the door. Through your skull. Through your life. You open it and your world ends. Two soldiers in chainmail stand there, grim and stained with sweat. One reeks of horses, the other of blood. No greetings, no names, just a wooden spear slammed into your chest. By order of the king, you're conscripted. That's the moment everything soft dies. 1 minute ago, you were scrolling your phone, sipping coffee, wrapped in warmth. Now your name is on a list. Your body is government property. The rules of comfort no longer apply. Outside, the street is chaos. Neighbours dragged into the mud. Screams, metal boots, the smell of smoke and fear. You try to speak. No one hears. The soldier leans close. His voice cuts like cold steel. You have 1 week to learn how to fight, or you will die, and you won't survive that week. Not unless something inside you breaks first. The scream hits you before your eyes open. Up! The voice is raw steel. It doesn't ask. It orders. A boot slams against the barracks wall. You scramble upright, limbs still screaming from yesterday. Outside, the cold air bites your skin. The yard is already full rows of men standing in the mud, eyes hollow, shoulders slumped. You take your place. Too slow. A wooden staff slams across your thigh. You gasp and stumble. The soldier doesn't flinch. Learn fast, he says, then moves on. From that moment, the day becomes a blur of pain. You march until your feet blister and your knees shake. Over and over, across the yard, in perfect rows, under the captain's watchful eyes. If someone stumbles, the whole line repeats. If someone collapses, they're dragged out and replaced. You drill with the spear until your hands bleed. The wood tears your skin, and you can't keep your grip. Your arms tremble with every thrust. Then it's on to shields, heavy, splintered, awkward slabs of wood rimmed with iron. You raise it, hold it, lower it, over and over until your shoulders burn like fire. There are no breaks, no water unless you earn it. The sun climbs and blazes and finally sinks, and still the drills go on. You haul sacks of rocks across the camp. You drag logs until your back spasms. You're ordered to run in full armour, rusted, ill-fitting, too heavy to breathe in. You trip. You fall. You get up. Always. At first, your mind tries to compare it to gym workouts. Running on a treadmill, lifting clean weights, spotting a buddy while music plays overhead. But that memory feels like another life. Out here, nothing is clean. Nothing is controlled. Your muscles don't ache, they scream. Your lungs don't burn, they seize. Your mouth dries to dust. You relieve yourself in ditches. Your meals are crusts of bread and slivers of dried meat. You sleep on straw, if you sleep at all. Then come the spears. You grip the shaft until your palms split open. Thrust until your triceps scream. Each repetition burns deeper than the last, but the shouts don't stop. Higher, faster, again. You try, you fail, you try again. You get hit for slowing down. There's no time to think, no time to breathe. A man beside you suddenly slumps, face pale, eyes blank. He doesn't get up. No one shouts, no one stops. 2 soldiers drag the body away, and the drill continues. No one even looks at the body. It's as if he never existed. Your unit is barely holding together. One man limps from an old wound and grits through every step. Another doesn't speak, just stares into the distance with wide, empty eyes. A boy near your age pukes halfway through the day and gets kicked for slowing down. The veterans don't help. They train like machines. They eat in silence. They sleep like the dead. When you ask a question, they ignore you. When you ask again, one just mutters, "Don't get used to anyone." You see fear in every face around you. Not just exhaustion, real fear. No one says it, but the message is clear. You're not ready. None of you are. As the sun drops, the captain steps into the yard. His armour is battered, his sword stained, but his steps are precise. He watches you like a wolf watches sheep. Then he stops, points at the centre of the yard. "Tomorrow," he says, voice like iron, "you fight each other." A long silence. No rules, no safety, no mercy. Then he turns and walks away. You stand there, drenched in sweat, arms trembling, the spear slick in your hands. The others don't speak. One man swallows hard, another grips his spear tighter. Tomorrow is your first battle practice, and people are going to bleed. The first strike nearly caves in your chest. There's no warning, no warm-up, just a barked command fight and a blur of movement as the man across from you barrels forward. His shield smashes into yours with a force that buckles your knees. You stagger, and before you can recover, his wooden sword slams into your ribs. The crack you hear could be the blade, or your bones. You don't get time to figure it out. This isn't sparring, this is survival. You hit the mud, breathless and stunned. Your shield slips from your fingers, dirt grinds into your teeth, a shadow moves over you, and someone drags your broken body out of the ring like garbage. Another pair is already stepping in. No pause, no mercy, no instructions. Pain is the only lesson, and you're failing fast. You force yourself to your feet. Ribs howling, lungs tight, arms barely responding. You grab another shield, splintered and bloodstained, and rejoin the line. The next opponent doesn't wait. He charges, wild and desperate. You try to block. His blows crash into your forearms, your shoulders, your thigh. Your arms go numb. You swing back, but it's sloppy. He knocks you down again. Around you, the yard is a war zone. Men slam into each other with wooden weapons and blind fury. You see blood flying from cracked lips. A man screams as his shoulder dislocates. Someone else lies still after a hit to the head. No one stops the fight. There are no medics on standby, just a few tired assistants who pull bodies out of the way if they don't rise fast enough. Someone faints. The line closes in. Someone bleeds. The staff keeps shouting. Someone cries. No one listens. This is not training. This is culling. Eventually, the pain becomes familiar, distant, a constant hum beneath your skin, and in that numbness, something dark begins to grow. On your 6th match, maybe 7th, you stop defending. You stop hesitating. You hit back. You slam your shield into your opponent's jaw. He grunts. You swing your wooden sword. It connects. Once, twice. He falls, and you keep moving, not from anger. Not even from fear, just momentum, just habit. You win that round. Whatever winning means here, the captain doesn't cheer, no one does. The veterans lean against the fence, arms crossed, watching like wolves at the edge of the herd. You're no longer fighting to learn. You're fighting to remain visible, to remain useful, to avoid being the one who gets left behind. You notice the silence between matches, how it's never quiet, only tense. A man beside you mutters a prayer between clenched teeth. Another picks dirt from a cracked tooth with the tip of his blade. No one jokes. No one looks at each other for long. You're all thinking the same thing. How many more, and how many won't get back up? You fight again, and again. Time smears. You lose count. Your arms refuse to lift properly, but you swing anyway. Your grip slips. You see your own blood. You keep going. You learn to breathe through bruised ribs, to pivot on a swollen ankle, to ignore pain like background noise. This isn't a lesson in combat, it's a lesson in cruelty. When the sun finally begins to fall, torches are lit around the yard. The light flickers against battered shields and broken bodies. You see fewer men waiting in line now. Some are gone, some are still on the ground. You lower yourself onto the edge of a water barrel, too dizzy to stand. The water inside is filthy. You drink anyway. Across the yard, the captain steps into the ring. He doesn't shout, he doesn't raise a hand. He simply speaks, and the yard quiets. You march tomorrow, the enemy's moving. There's no speech, no encouragement, no recognition of what you've endured. You glance at the others, those still standing. The ones who fought you today, the ones you fought back. Tomorrow, you stand beside them. Tomorrow, you carry the same shields, march in the same mud, and bleed on the same ground. And the enemy doesn't use wood. The horns sound before dawn, not sharp or frantic, just long, steady blasts that ripple across the frozen earth and settle deep in your gut. You don't need to be told what it means. The march has begun. Armor clinks and curses rise as men fumble into gear in the dark, joints stiff from bruises, lungs wheezing from cold air and smoke. You move because everyone else moves. That's the rhythm now. Not choice, not thought, just motion. Outside, the world is grey. The camp already looks stripped, gear packed, fires smothered, nothing left behind but boot prints and blood in the mud. Your shield digs into your arm. The spear feels heavier than yesterday, though it hasn't changed. Your back still aches from shield drills. Your thighs still pulse from yesterday's sparring. But there's no more time to prepare. That's over. The line forms before the sun even touches the treetops. Hundreds of you, stretched across the path like a funeral procession with no casket. The veterans lead, the green recruits follow. You're somewhere in the middle, shoulder to shoulder with strangers who have bled beside you but barely spoken. Some whisper prayers, others just breathe. No one jokes. The road ahead leads to the front, and everyone knows it. Marching sounds simple, just walk. But the weight changes everything. Armor bites at your ribs with every step. The helmet cramps your skull. The shield strap cuts deeper by the hour. Your pack grinds against your spine, loaded with gear you barely know how to use. A sword, a whetstone, a mess kit, dried meat, a crust of bread, a water skin that already feels too light. Each mile adds more weight. The smell builds quickly. Not the smoke or the mud you've learned to live with that, but the human smell. Sweat soaked into cloth. Leather turned sour. Feet rotting in wet boots. A line of men under stress for hours becomes its own kind of rot. Your nose adjusts, your stomach doesn't. Villages pass by in the distance. Some still have roofs, some don't. You see children watch from behind fences, their faces blank. You see an old woman dragging firewood with eyes that have already seen too many soldiers. No one waves, no one asks questions. They've learned not to. Hours pass. The road turns to muck. Boots sink, carts groan. Men stumble, some fall. One man ahead of you drops to his knees, vomits and tries to stand. A veteran behind him shoves him back up. No stopping, he growls. Not today. The man wobbles, steadies and keeps moving. Another man collapses outright. 2 soldiers drag him to the side. The rest of the column doesn't slow. You think about water constantly. You ration your sips. Every swallow feels like stealing from your future self. Your tongue turns rough. Your lips crack. The sun climbs and burns through the haze. Cloaks come off. Faces go red. Steam rises from bodies. You feel the skin on your neck blistering beneath the rim of your helmet. You hear rumours pass like smoke. A scout saw black banners. Someone smelled burnt meat an hour ahead. The last village had no survivors. The men whisper them, low and grim, like they already believe every word. One of the veterans says it plainly. They're close. That's all he says. That's all it takes. By late afternoon, your legs feel like iron. Your heels are shredded. Your shoulders shake. You lose track of distance, of time. You count steps just to stay awake. You start hallucinating noises, bells, laughter, dogs barking. None of it is real. The march keeps going. Then the terrain changes. The hills steepen, the trees thin, trenches appear deep, crude, fresh. You see stakes hammered into the ground, watchtowers manned by tired men with crossbows and dirty armour. This isn't a road anymore. It's a corridor to slaughter. You feel it. When the sun begins to fall, everything turns orange, then red. That's when you see it. Not a sunset. A fire. Smoke climbs into the sky in thick black ribbons, curling above a ridge. Not campfire smoke. Village smoke. You know the difference now. The smell follows next: burned thatch, scorched flesh, ash and grease. Someone up ahead curses under his breath. Someone else makes the sign of the cross. Then you hear it. Not screams, not shouts. Just the crackling of something big burning, roofs maybe, barns, people. You crest the next hill and see it clearly. A town, or what's left of one, swallowed in flame. Orange light spills across the landscape. Silhouettes move through the smoke, too organised to be villagers, too fast to be scavengers. You can't see their faces, but you know who they are. The enemy is ahead. You halt on the hillside, breathing smoke and sweat, staring at the glow. Some men are crying quietly, others go still. You don't feel much at all, just the weight of the shield, the taste of soot, the pressure in your chest that won't go away. The captain walks the line, checking gear, saying nothing. No one tells you what happens tomorrow. They don't need to. You already know. The smoke is thicker now. It clings to your clothes, curls into your mouth, coats your lungs. Every breath tastes like scorched wood and blood. No one's speaking, no one needs to. The order came before sunrise. The enemy is close. Your unit forms ranks while the sky is still grey, feet stomping into frozen mud, shields locked edge to edge. You can feel the tension humming in every man's bones. This isn't another drill. This is what you've been forced to prepare for, whether you're ready or not. The ridge ahead is steep and slick with frost. Your boots struggle for purchase as you ascend with the others, your body stiff, armour clanking with every step. Once you crest the hill, you see them. Across a shallow valley, just beyond the haze rows of figures marching forward, silhouettes behind the smoke. Their banners rise high above their heads, blood-red symbols flapping in the wind. Their armour catches the light, their shields glint, their pace doesn't change. They look calm, clean, disciplined. You do not. Your hands sweat inside your gauntlets. Your shield is heavy on your arm. Your breath fogs the inside of your helmet, and you can't wipe it away. Around you, some men mumble prayers. One is shaking so hard his spear rattles against his shield. You try not to think. You just stare ahead, like everyone else, and wait. Then the sound begins. Drums. Deep and slow, like a heartbeat made of stone. You feel them before you truly hear them, pulsing through your chest. The enemy line moves in time with them, each step synchronized like they've done this for years. Like this is just another field to cross, another village to erase. A horn blasts on your side, raw, low and human. The captain bellows something, but the words vanish in the wind. Your front line moves, not a charge, a walk. Slow, methodical, just like they told you. Keep formation, hold the line, don't break. You're not in the front, you are behind them. Second wave. That doesn't comfort you. It just means you get to hear what happens next. The clash begins as a rumble, then it swells, steel hits steel. Men shout. You hear the distinct, awful sound of something snapping bone or wood you can't tell. A scream pierces through it all. It sounds too high to be real. Then another, louder, closer. The formation inches forward again. Now you can see shapes in the fray, shields hammering into ribs, spears lunging, men falling. There is no space between the bodies, no room to swing wide. You just push and press and hope you're not the one losing balance. You grip your spear so tightly your fingers go numb. Your legs don't feel like yours. Your stomach cramps. You tell yourself to breathe. You don't. More screams. You're moving again. The front is just 10 feet away now. You see your first corpse. His helmet's gone. His face, what's left of it, is slack. His blood soaks the earth. No one stops for him. Men step over him like he's part of the terrain. You nearly trip. A hand from behind shoves you upright. Keep moving, someone snarls. You move. Pain erupts beside you as someone is struck down. Shield shattered. A spear drives into the gap between his shoulder and neck. He twitches, then goes still. You sidestep his body and take his place. This is your introduction to real combat. No rules, no pauses, no breaks. You don't see who you're fighting. Just armour, blades, eyes behind slits. You swing your spear because there's no other choice. You don't know if it connects. Something slams into your shield. The force knocks you back a step. Then two. You recover. Barely. Your training returns. In flashes block left. Push forward, jab low. But it all feels like guessing. Around you, men grunt and curse and scream. You hear bones break. You see blood fly. You smell it now. Thick and metallic. It coats your tongue. Then a shadow moves on your right. Massive. Fast. Wrong. Not a soldier. A horse. A knight. He bursts through the smoke like a wrecking ball, lance angled low, armoured from crown to toe. His horse crashes through two men like they're made of straw. He's not aiming for the front. He's aiming straight at you. The wall collapses around you. What was once a formation is now a crush of bodies, noise and heat. There's no space to think, no room to move. You're shoved forward by the men behind you, your shield angled out, spear clutched in both hands. The ground turns slick beneath your feet, mud, blood, something worse. You step on something soft. It shifts. A corpse, or part of one. You don't look down. You don't want to know. The press of bodies is suffocating. Your lungs strain, your arms shake. You jab your spear into the gap between shields and feel it hit something solid. Bone? Flesh? Armour? You don't know. You pull it back and jab again. The haft slips in your grip, slick with sweat and blood. To your right, a soldier screams as a blade bites into his neck. Blood sprays warm across your cheek. He drops silently, and before he hits the ground, someone else takes his place. There's no time to mourn, no room for hesitation. This isn't fighting, it's surviving. You try to breathe, but the air is thick with smoke, iron, and the sharp sting of burning pitch. Your vision blurs. Your ears ring from the endless pounding shields clashing, men roaring, horses screaming in pain. You blink blood from your eyes. Someone shoves into your side, nearly knocking you over. You recover and lash out with your spear again. It strikes something, then nothing. You jab blind. Jab again. A man to your left collapses, gurgling through a crushed windpipe. Someone else steps over him and keeps stabbing. Someone else disappears under the weight of bodies. You don't see them come back up. Above it all, the sound of hooves builds heavy, fast closing. You turn your head and see him just in time. A knight in full plate, mounted, lance lowered. His horse crashes through the line like it's made of reeds. The man beside you vanishes under iron hooves. You barely throw yourself aside. The knight doesn't stop. He sweeps his sword across a man's spine and keeps riding, already looking for the next break in the wall. Panic ripples through the line. The formation bends. You hear officers shouting, trying to close ranks. It's too late. They're in. What comes next isn't a battle. It's butchery. The enemy is in among you now, men with axes, short swords, curved knives. No formation, no discipline, just killing. One leaps at you with a roar, blade flashing. You get your shield up in time, but the impact drives you backward. You swing wildly with your spear. It clips his side. He snarls and comes again. A veteran drives his blade into the man's gut from behind, and just like that, he's gone. Dead, replaced, forgotten. You feel your shoulder wrench as another blow lands. Your shield cracks down the middle. You drop it and draw your sidearm, a short sword you've barely practiced with. It feels clumsy in your hand. You slash at whatever moves. You're not thinking. You're reacting. A helmeted face lunges at you. You stab at it. Your blade skips off iron. Another rush. Another scream. Your wrist buckles. You fall. The ground is wet. Warm. You scramble to your feet, slip, crawl, rise again. Someone grabs your collar, yanks you back into line. Stay up or die, the voice growls. You don't see who said it. You don't look. You just obey. You don't know how long the fight lasts. Minutes? Hours? Your body is numb. Your sword arm is dead weight. You're moving by instinct now. A strike, a block, a step back. Another step forward. The field around you is littered with broken shields, shattered spears, and unmoving bodies. The mud runs red. The sun is a haze behind clouds of smoke. The noise doesn't stop, but it begins to change, less clashing, more screaming, less command, more chaos. And then it happens. From your flank, you hear it a shriek of panic. Not just fear. Desperation. Something went wrong. A unit broke. You turn and see it. A gap in the line. Not a crack. A tear. A collapse. And through that tear comes another knight. He's faster than the last. Sword raised. Eyes locked. He's coming straight for you. The quiet feels unnatural. Wrong. It doesn't creep in. It crashes, sudden, heavy, absolute. One moment, you're surrounded by the screams of men being torn apart. The next, only the groans of the dying remain. The battle is over, not because anyone declared it so, but because there's simply no one left to keep swinging. You lower your weapon, though your arms are too numb to feel it. You listen, not for orders, but for proof that you're still breathing. Bodies are everywhere, some twisted in piles, some half buried in mud. A man lies 3 feet from you, eyes open, mouth moving, but no sound coming out. Another has been nearly cut in half, his legs one way, his torso another. You don't even try to count them. It doesn't matter. You step around corpses like they're debris. You don't feel anything. Not horror. Not grief. Not yet. Your legs move, but without purpose. Every part of you aches. Your hands are cramping around the hilt of your sword. You have to pry your fingers loose, one at a time. Bloodsome yaws. Most not coats your skin, dried in dark patches and sticky streaks. You wipe it off on your sleeve without thinking. You glance down and realize your armor is cracked, your helmet gone. You don't remember losing it. You pass men you knew. Not well, no one's had time for that, but enough to feel the punch of recognition. The one who shared his bread with you on the second day? Dead. The quiet veteran who never spoke during drills? Gone. The boy who shook so hard he couldn't hold his spear? You see half of his face in the mud, the other half isn't there. Some survivors are crying, others are silent, staring into the distance like they're still trapped in the moment before the killing stopped. A few begin looting the dead, moving from body to body, stripping rings, daggers, boots. No one stops them. There are no rules left out here, only needs. The veterans clean their weapons. Slowly, methodically, they speak in low voices, counting who's still alive, who's not, and who won't make it through the night. You walk past them. One glances up and nods not with pride, but with acknowledgement. You've seen what they've seen now. You've bled beside them. That's enough. You sit down where you are. There's no clean spot, just a patch of dirt not already soaked in something awful. Your back cracks. Your knees pop. You lean against a broken shield and exhale, but it's not relief. Just release. You survived the charge. You survived the slaughter. But you're not the same person who marched out this morning. That version of you is gone, buried on this field with all the others. You try to think about home, about warm beds and clean water and people who care whether you wake up. But the images feel too distant now, too quiet, too soft. You stare at the sky. Clouds drift by like nothing happened. The sun sets anyway, as if today wasn't meant to change anything. The captain walks the field alone. His armor is scratched, his cloak soaked in blood, but his stride is steady. He doesn't speak to anyone, just walks among the dead, counting, evaluating, preparing. Tomorrow you'll march again. No one says it, but everyone knows. This wasn't the final battle, just the first. There's another village, another enemy, another stretch of road soaked in fear. You'll walk it with fewer men and heavier packs. You'll carry more than gear. You'll carry memory, pain. The knowledge that you weren't ready and that you still might not be. You close your eyes, not to sleep, but to shut it out for a few seconds. You made it. But this is just the beginning.